everyone, and welcome to the Finding Your Financial Voice podcast with me, your host, Anita R Johnson. Our mission for this podcast is to always give you sound financial tips that you can implement immediately, allowing you to leave a legacy for your family. I want to thank all our faithful listeners for listening with us for the last two seasons. We are in season number 3. And then, of course, this is season number 3 and episode number 1. As we get through this maze of podcast land. Now, this episode, we will be discussing how financial trauma can affect your mental health. Season 2, episode 3, we spoke with Dr. Nicole, who is the expert on trauma healing. I advise you to go back and listen to the last episode with Dr. Nicole. She also is our cover woman for our September issue of Affluence Financial Fitness for Women magazine. She writes a clear definition of what trauma and how trauma triggers. Now, I want to go to her article, and I want you guys to remember this. Now, I'm reading a little bit of each one of our contributor articles today, but I want you to go in and make sure that you get one of the hard copies of our magazine, or either you can download it off the website. So let me tell you what Dr. Nicole says. Her article, the name of her article is Trauma, Triggers, and Money. Oh my gosh, trauma, trigger, and money. So she writes, what is trauma triggers? A trauma trigger is enlightenment past painful memories or reactions to experience an action, situation, smell, or sound that might present a trauma during a traumatic event. So in other words, something triggers you into this trauma, right? You've had this trauma and something triggers you. As she writes in here about a situation, it could be a smell, it could be a sound that triggers you. Then you want to talk about money. And to answer that question, she writes, to answer the question, we will look at one point of financial trauma, which is poverty. Under the umbrella of poverty, there is a bunch of situations that can trigger your money matters. Now, I love Dr. Nicole. I love her. She is absolutely talk about trauma and how it affects the things that you do. So she says the financial trauma cycle is where a financial trauma occurs somewhere in your life, most likely in your childhood. And as you guys know, by the things that I talk about, we talk about childhood trauma or childhood things that have happened. Like if there was someone fussing or there was an argument about money, someone controlled the money as a child, or the saying that we always hear, money doesn't grow on trees. Let me give you one more example of what Dr. Nicole says. She says the poor spending habits can lead you to more worry about stability, resulting in additional trauma. The cycle continues until the person develops an elevated money mindset and a better saving and spending habits. I want to read that one more time. Now, again, I want you to go and you get the new issue of the September Affluence Financial Fitness for Women. But this one talks about the poor spending habits that lead to more worry about stability, resulting in additional trauma. The cycle continues until the person develops an elevated money mindset and a better saving and spending habits. Now that's Dr. Nicole. And I love Dr. Nicole, and I'm not going to read any more from her article because I want you to go and get the Affluence Financial Fitness for Women September issue. She is our cover woman. She's on the cover, and she's ready to let you know all about what she is talking about. Pick up your copy. Also, listen to the previous podcast. That is season 2, episode 3 with me and Dr. Nicole, as we talk about trauma, as we talk about that, as we talk about all those things. Right now, I'm going to take a short break. And in the break, you'll get to listen to the commercial that tells you about where you could go to get the Affluence Financial Fitness for Women magazine, which I am the publisher of. Yes, yes, of course. I'm your host, of course, of this Finding Your Financial Voice podcast and the publisher of Affluence Financial Fitness for Women. So let's take a quick break and we'll be back.
Stop the presses. The newest issue of Affluence Financial Fitness for Women magazine is out now. And trust me, you don't want to miss this month's issue. It's all about mental health and money. Find out how your mental health is affecting your financial status. There are 4 great articles in this month's publication. Trauma Triggers Money, written by our cover woman, Dr. Nicole Jackson. Exhausted and Running on Empty by Shira Murray. Money Mania by JR Spann-Davis. Financial Anxiety and Past Money Stories That Keep You Financially Stuck by Pam Sams. Plus, 2 great letters from our editor-in-chief, Candace Smith, and publisher, Anita R Johnson. You don't want to miss all the great wealth of information packed into this powerful magazine. Go to MadCloud today, search for Affluence Financial Fitness for Women magazine, and order your copy today. Receive it in the mail in just days. Get ready for a better, more financial, stable you.
Okay, I am back, and this is Anita with Finding Your Financial Voice podcast. Of course, I am your host. And again, I want to thank all my faithful listeners. I want to make sure this is season 3, episode 1, and we're talking about financial trauma, mental health, and financial trauma. Thank again for you tuning in. Now, I want to go to another young lady who has been has been a contributor for Affluence for a number of years. And we're coming up on our anniversary in January. And I hope that you will get that anniversary. It's going to be great. We're planning it now for you, so it'll be great for you. So let me just go to JR Spann-Davis. She gets right into the teeth of mental money mayhem. That's the date. That is her article. Okay, let me get her article out here so we can know what JR was talking about. It's called Mental Money Mayhem, right? And here's what JR says. JR says, this is her first line. This is her first line in her article. Now, remember, I'm not going to give you all the article. You got to go get this copy for yourself. It says, for the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some coveted after. Now, I'm gonna stop there because everybody knows this one. We have heard this one before. It says, she goes on to say, she says, but wait a minute. That's not my problem. It's the lack of money that causing my mental anguish at that. Mental anguish at that. Discussing mental health issues is a taboo. Sometimes it's a taboo. Nowadays, it used to be a taboo, but nowadays, it's a great discussion about mental health being the essential core component of self-care. Wow. So here we are. This issue is talking about mental health and money. And Miss JR, I love JR. Miss JR is talking about the root of evil, saying that the love of money is, but she said that's not her problem. She said, but wait a minute, that's not my problem. It's the lack of money. It's the lack of money. And here is causing mental anguish, mental health. Now we're going to get to some suggestions here from some of the other. And of course, there are suggestions by these young ladies too, by Dr. Nicole, and of course, my friend JR, right? But I'm not going to give you those suggestions because I want you to go and I want you to get the magazine, whether you get a hard copy or whether you get the digital one. In the break, we talked about where you can go and get those copies, right? And we'll make sure that we put it on the page of the Affluence Financial Fitness for Women. Facebook page is on LinkedIn where you can get the link and you can get a hard copy that comes directly to your home. You don't have to do it. Just go in there and you can order it. $19.99. You can order it, you can get it, right? And it's yours to keep. Now, let me go on with JR. It's a little bit more about JR and her article. As she says, in 2017, the American Psychology Association conducted a survey named Stress in America. They found that money is ranked second. Did you hear what I said? It is ranked second among prominent stressors for America. First place belonged to the future of our nation, while work ranked third. It's not a surprise that money is on this list. What may be surprising is some of the direct relationship between our mental health and money. How does mental health and money affect us, right? It always is amazing. JR says this, and I agree with JR. It amazes her to see this because we know that's common sense. We already know that that's common sense. If you have been anywhere around anyone, you know that money will stress, the lack of money stresses you. People that are poor, they can't figure out how to feed their families, pay their bills, do all the things that are absolutely necessary for them to maintain, just to maintain their household. But that's Miss JR. That is just Miss JR. Whew, Lord, that was a lot of work. That's a lot of work just to go through that and read that and to understand that. I'm not going to give you all JR's article. You're going to have to go and you're going to have to find it and you're going to have to read it, okay? But I want to get to another contributor. She is one of our newer contributors to Affluence Financial Fitness for Women. That's Miss Pam Sams. And you know, Pam has all these letters behind her name. Now, I'm not even going to try to explain what they mean, but it's what? BFA, CRPC, and an MBA. All right, we already know what the MBA. But anyway, Pam is a financial advisor, and she is on the East Coast. And all of these contributors have ads in our magazine, right, in the Affluence magazine, where you can contact them if you need to. All of them have ads where you can contact them. Dr. Nicole has an ad, and she's a great trauma healer. JR is a financial person, and so is Pam. And we have one more coming after that, right? So anyway, let's talk about what Pam says. Let's talk about that. It says, spend less, save more, build an emergency fund, pay off debt, plan for retirement. It's easy talk. When I read that, I was like, well, hell yeah, it's easy talk. You damn right, it's easy talk, right? It's easy talk to say all those things. But how do you get there? How do you get there if you are so emotionally distressed about money? You're poor, especially in the last 21 months, we've had this problem with the pandemic and so forth, been laid off. It says a tool or a means to an end. That's what money is. Most of us treat money like many other things in life. It's a tool or a means to an end. But money has a significant impact on how we live our lives. Consequently, it is natural that we tend to attach a great deal of emotional. Pam, you're talking my language now. Consequently, I'm going to read this again. Consequently, it is natural that we need to attach a great deal of emotional, and she has in parentheses, often negative to money. Okay, because we think money is bad. We've been taught that. One day I'm going to write a book. I'm going to write an article on how money is taught in the pulpit. I'm going to make some people mad. I'm going to make some folks mad about that. But anyway, I digress. Don't get me started on that kind of stuff because I will lose my mind. All right, I'm going to go on and read a little bit more about Pam's article here. It says rewrite your money story. It has a whole bunch of other things, but she talks about rewriting your money story. Money makes the world go round, but it can quickly turn your world upside down. Go on, Pam. I ain't mad at you. Go on, talk to the people. The only obstacle that stands in your way towards a better financial future is the person reading this article. Go on, Pam. I ain't mad at you. Don't allow financial anxiety, shame, or other negative emotions to get in the way of good financial decisions. Disassociate your self-worth with your net worth. Pam, if you said something, you said that then. All right. I ain't reading no more of Pam's article. You know why? Because I want you to go out and I want you to get this. I want you to get the magazine. I want you to get the Affluence Financial Fitness magazine. Now I'm going to take another break. And in this break, we're going to talk about some other stuff. I want to make sure before we leave here, I want to make sure that you get the address where you can get this magazine, because these are some good articles these ladies have poured their heart into. These contributors have poured their heart into it. Now, this is some heavy duty stuff going on. Like I said, we're going to take a break and I'll be back and we're going to dig into Shara Murphy's. Shara, her art, and she's another one of my favorites. All these ladies are my favorite. All these ladies, because they have stories to tell. Now, we're going to take a quick break and we're going to get back into her stuff here in a minute.
Money Wisdom for Women is having another membership drive, and you don't want to miss it. During the entire month of September, you can register to become a member of Money Wisdom for Women. Founder Anita R Johnson created Money Wisdom for Women membership to equip women with wealth building skills, allowing them to leave a legacy for their children. Signing up for membership is easy. Go to www.moneywisdomforwomen.com to sign up for these life-changing services today.
Now, welcome back to Finding Your Financial Voice podcast with me, your host, Anita R Johnson. And what we have been talking about is our upcoming or already here September issue. All right, September issue of Affluence Financial Fitness for Women. I have just pulled 4 of the articles that were written in the magazine. I am, of course, the publisher of that magazine, and you can get that magazine on hard copy or you can get it in the publisher. You can go to MagCloud, MagCloud. Woo, that I had to take time with that one, right? And you can go there and you can find Affluence Financial Fitness for Women. You can get the digital copy or you can get a hard copy. Come to you, the digital copy come right now. As soon as you download it, as soon as you pay for it, download it. The hard copy take you 2 weeks to get it, and you will not be nowhere near unhappy with what you're reading in these articles. Now, I want to get to Shara's. And I love Shara. Shara has a great story. If you have not read Shara's story, I suggest you read a little bit about it. Now, she and I have together written with other people a collaboration of a book, and it's called The Effects of Money on Black Women, the Psychological Effects of Money on Black Women. And she writes a wonderful story in there. Yes, I'm plugging the book. All right, it is my podcast. Hey, what can I say? All right, so let's get back to this podcast stuff. This is so much good information about this podcast, and we're talking about mental health and money. So Shara, like I said, she is one of my favorite contributors, and the title of her article, let me tell you what the title of her article is. It's talking about exhausted and running on empty. Exhausted and running on empty. That's what we do. That's what all this is. And not only is that we're talking about this, but we want to give you some sound things that you can implement. You know, like I said, the mission and the purpose of this podcast is to give you some sound financial advice, right? Always. Here again, I always tell people, make sure you talk to your financial counselors before you start putting any financial things in place, any changing anything, right? But these are some things you can do right now. Your money mindset, not being stuck in a rut about certain things, having financial anxiety. It is true. In the last 20 months, we have been through COVID. We have been through wearing these masks, and it wear and tears on your mental state. However, Shara just doesn't talks about how exhausted you are. She actually tells you when you're feeling burnt out, some of the things that you should do. Let me just back up and tell you some of the signs if you have some of these signs. Feeling drained and physically and emotionally. Reduced productivity and motivation or interest in jobs or hobbies. She got some other stuff, but I ain't telling you because I want you to go and get the magazine. One more, I'll tell you one more. A busy mind. Now, when you are feeling this burnt out, this is what Shara says. She's got 4 things here, but I'm going to tell you one. I'm going to tell you 2 of them. Work with a therapist, a coach, and join a support group. Now, I am all about working with a therapist. I have been working with a therapist over half my life. right? Over half my life. And it's good to talk to somebody that know what they're talking about. It's okay to talk to your girlfriends, guy friends, all that kind of stuff, right? And if they are therapists, they know which questions to ask you to get some stuff out of you, right? But work with a therapist, a coach, or join a support group. Talking with someone helps you and addresses the difficulties. The other one, which I like the most, is to take a vacation. Take a vacation. She says here, Shar says here, about an average American has only taken about half of their paid vacation in the last year. I know we've been working from home for the last 20 months, but and working from home may be great for some people, but it's not always good. So you need to take a vacation, whether you stay vacation, meaning you stay at home and you don't do nothing, you got your feet up, or you get a hotel room or something like that. Take a vacation or walk on the beach. You don't have to spend a lot of money to do that. You don't have to spend a lot of money. So those are the two things that shop. And again, I'm going to stop here. And those are our 4 contributors that we have in the September issue of Affluence, right? It's September 2021. And we are 21 months out of this pandemic, or wearing a mask and taking shots and doing things. We're getting back to work. We're getting off the aid. That some people are getting off the aid. They are anxious. They don't know what's going to happen. Maybe their job is not going to come back. These articles are here to help you understand what you can do. What you can do if you feel this way. What you can do. All right. So again, I want to thank everybody for listening. And if you want to be a sponsor of the Finding Your Financial Voice podcast hosted by myself, Anita Johnson, you can do that. Just send me a nice little email with the subject line saying sponsorship, and I'll send you out a sponsorship package of what you can do and how you can help other women. Sponsor, you don't necessarily have to sponsor this particular program. We have plenty of ways that you can sponsor. We do workshops for women. There are women that are in need of this workshop that cannot pay for certain things, and you can sponsor a woman. You can sponsor a woman to get the magazine, 2 or 3 women to get the magazine. Get some magazines, give them out to people. It is some of those things that you can do, just the small things that you can do. My email address is Anita, ANITA, Financial Behaviors, FINANCIAL, Behaviors, BEAHAVIRIST, @gmail.com. So go there, and in the subject line, you want to put sponsorships. You know where to go to get the magazine. You have heard the commercial. You've heard that commercial to go and get where you go get the magazine. And again, I want to say again, it is MAG, MAG, Cloud, CLOUD, and then look.com and look for the Affluence Financial Fitness for magazine. Dr. Nicole is on the front. She is our cover girl and our featured contributor for the month. We got so many things. We got a couple of Facebook Lives coming up where we are speaking to, and you can also actually sponsor some of the Facebook Lives too as well. So we want some of that as well. So sponsor that. Get your name out there. Be associated with the Affluence Financial Fitness for Women. So again, I want to thank you for listening to the Finding Your Financial Voice podcast with me, your host, Anita R Johnson, where our mission is always to give you sound financial tips so you can implement them, allowing you to leave a legacy for your children. This has been a special topic about mental health. It is no laughing matter. I know I gave you some good information on these articles, and I want you to go and I want you to read it. Mental health and money, it is there. It is there. It's been there. Nobody has been discovering it for a while. And so I want you to discover it. I want you to be better. Do this thing. Again, thank you. And again, I am Anita Johnson, your host of the Finding Your Financial Voice podcast. And you have a great, great rest of your afternoon.